NCOC, one of the largest and most complex projects in the world. Safe and steady production and export since 2016. Extreme weather conditions, sensitive environment, ice movement and formation of hummocks. Annual environmental surveys. In 1998 to 2020, completed 222 projects for about $800 million US. In 2004 to 2020, 15.5 billion US dollars spent on local goods, works, and services.
China National Petroleum Corporation, CNPC, is the world's third largest oil company operating in 37 countries. The Belt and Road Initiative unlocks new opportunities for mutually beneficial cooperation among all Central Asian countries. In Kazakhstan, we invested $45 billion in production, paid $50 billion in taxes, and contributed $400 million to social projects. 30,000 Kazakhstanis work in our dedicated team. CNPC in Kazakhstan, 24 years together.
We know it's going to take many forms of energy to meet the world's needs while creating a cleaner future for all. At Chevron, we're lowering the carbon emissions intensity of our operations, investing in lower carbon technologies, and exploring renewable fuels of the future. We work hard to care for the homes we love, but it's only human to protect the one we share.
The unique Tengizchevroil oil pipeline of the Caspian Pipeline Consortium has been successfully operating on the territory of Kazakhstan and Russia for a quarter of a century. Besides oil transportation, the Caspian Pipeline Consortium actively supports charity projects that help preserve the biodiversity of Kazakhstan. The consortium also demonstrates a high level of social responsibility, supporting talented young people and those who are in need. Caspian Pipeline Consortium, long-standing partnership.
This is the one place we're not afraid to fail. Some of these experiments may not work, but a few might shape the future. Like turning algae into biofuel. New technology for capturing CO2 emissions. And cars twice as efficient as the average car today. Ideas ExxonMobil scientists are working on to make energy go further. No matter how many tries it takes, energy lives here.
The Karachaganak Petroleum Operating Company operates one of the largest oil and gas condensate fields in the world. It is located in Berlibayev district of West Kazakhstan Oblast. In 2020, Karachaganak produced some 144 million barrels of oil equivalent of stable liquid hydrocarbons, export raw gas and sweet fuel gas. As of today, KPO partners have invested more than $27 billion into the development of the Karachaganak field.
Energy is life. We all need it. And it's a source of progress. So today, to contribute to the sustainable development of the planet facing the climate challenge, we are moving forward, together, towards new energies. Energy is reinventing itself. And this energy journey is ours. Our ambition is to be a world-class player in the energy transition. That is why Total is transforming and becoming Total Energies.
English 1, 2, 3.
NCOC, one of the largest and most complex projects in the world. Safe and steady production and export since 2016. Extreme weather conditions, sensitive environment, ice movement and formation of hummocks. Annual environmental surveys. In 1998 to 2020, completed 222 projects for about 800 million US dollars. In 2004 to 2020, 15.5 billion US dollars spent on local goods, works, and services.
China National Petroleum Corporation, CNPC, is the world's third largest oil company operating in 37 countries. The Belt and Road Initiative unlocks new opportunities for mutually beneficial cooperation among all Central Asian countries. In Kazakhstan, we invested $45 billion in production, paid $50 billion in taxes, and contributed $400 million to social projects. 30,000 Kazakhstanis work in our dedicated team. CNPC in Kazakhstan, 24 years together.
We know it's going to take many forms of energy to meet the world's needs while creating a cleaner future for all. At Chevron, we're lowering the carbon emissions intensity of our operations, investing in lower carbon technologies, and exploring renewable fuels of the future. We work hard to care for the homes we love, but it's only human to protect the one we share.
The unique Tengizchevroil oil pipeline of the Caspian Pipeline Consortium has been successfully operating on the territory of Kazakhstan and Russia for a quarter of a century. Besides oil transportation, the Caspian Pipeline Consortium actively supports charity projects that help preserve the biodiversity of Kazakhstan. The consortium also demonstrates a high level of social responsibility, supporting talented young people and those who are in need. Caspian Pipeline Consortium, long-standing partnership.
This is the one place we're not afraid to fail. Some of these experiments may not work, but a few might shape the future. Like turning algae into biofuel. New technology for capturing CO2 emissions. And cars twice as efficient as the average car today. Ideas ExxonMobil scientists are working on to make energy go further. No matter how many tries it takes. Energy lives here.
The Karachaganak Petroleum Operating Company operates one of the largest oil and gas condensate fields in the world. It is located in Berlibayev district of West Kazakhstan Oblast. In 2020, Karachaganak produced some 144 million barrels of oil equivalent of stable liquid hydrocarbons, export raw gas and sweet fuel gas. As of today, KPO partners have invested more than $27 billion into the development of the Karachaganak field.
Добрый день, уважаемые дамы и господа, уважаемые участники
Good day, dear ladies and gentlemen, dear participants. The speaker's microphone is not on. Synchronous translation is not possible. The speaker needs to turn his microphone on. The speaker needs to turn his microphone on. Translators do not hear the voice of the speaker.
Более 750 миллионов тонн нефти из Казахстана. На нашей пленарной сессии присутствуют представители парламента, правительства, представители нефтегазовой отрасли Казахстана и ее ветераны. Поэтому разрешите еще раз от имени Ассоциации Kazenergy поприветствовать вас и приступить к работе сессии. Организаторы подготовили для нас
The organizers have prepared for us a brief video about the CPC Foundation and Development. Please pay attention now.
This year we are celebrating 25th anniversary of the major international oil transportation project, CPC, Caspian Pipeline Consortium, the CPC. Since the creation of the company to the global market, we have shipped more than 745 million tons of crude oil. The growth in production as well as entering into new, including joint oil-producing projects, allows us to increase the throughput capacity of the pipeline, ensure sustainability in the management of that complicated project. CPC, the major international economic cooperation bridge. It's a unique pipeline, Tengizchevroil of the CPC. Its length is more than 1,500 kilometers. This is a major bridge of economic cooperation. International consortium is inclusive of 11 shareholders, including major petroleum companies of the world. Creation and development of CPC. Pages of history. When the USSR collapsed, the former uniform system of transportation management collapsed as well, and Kazakhstan had to promptly resolve the issue of access to Black Sea oil terminals, which was a necessary prerequisite for the further development of Kazakh petroleum fields. And Kazakhstan was considering many construction options. More than 10 oil export routes were offered. The expert defined the priority: Tengiz, Atirau, port of Novorossiysk, Black Sea. 6th of December 1996 was a turning day in the life of the project. In Moscow, the parties signed the shareholder agreement about CPC, and the construction was commenced on 12th of May 1999. Important event in the history of Kazakh Petroleum was the commissioning in 2001 of Tengiz-Novorossiysk pipeline. The oil mainly comes from rich fields in the west of Kazakhstan, and the oil comes from Russia as well. Oil is transported to South Saryarka community in the vicinity of Novorossiysk, where it is being loaded into the tankers. The filling in was successfully commenced with Tengiz crude. The volume of crude oil increases from year to year, and in the middle of 2002 the CPC reached its full throughput capacity of the first stage of development, 28.2 million tons. Starting from 2001 and until now, Kazakhstan exported 745 million tons through CPC. December 2009, another
another project was commenced to increase the throughput capacity. It was successfully finished in 2018. Today the throughput capacity of CPC is 67 million tons of crude oil a year. In May 2019, CPC commenced implementation of the debottlenecking project. Upon fulfillment in 2023, the CPC throughput capacity shall increase up to 80 million tons of oil per year. CPC of great significance for the development of the Caspian region. Increase in production is a prerequisite for increase in economic effectivity of CPC. CPC expansion is the guaranteed employment and sustained supplies through the pipeline system. It was possible because of consolidation of effort and compromise among the shareholders in a great variety of various political, economical and even cultural affairs. The construction of Tengiz Black Sea pipeline, another success story. Quite an information-saturated film. This year, CPC are celebrating 25th anniversary since the Tengiz-Novorossiysk pipeline commissioning. For more detailed information, the floor is being given to the Director General of JSC Caspian Pipeline Consortium, Mr. Nikolai Gorban. Thank you very much. Dear guests, partners, colleagues, it is my pleasure to greet all of you at the Global World Energy Week, Kazenergy Eurasian Forum. Both events are a traditional event in the petroleum sector. I extend my cordial gratitude to the organizing committee for the highest level of organization, for readiness to share professional experience for the benefit of Kazakh petroleum and petroleum business in other countries. The year of 2021 was rich in events and jubilees. I avail myself of an opportunity to congratulate all of us on the upcoming Day of Independence of the Republic of Kazakhstan. For our company, participation in Kazenergy Forum, this 30th year of independence is a milestone. Like has already been said, CPC this year are celebrating 25th anniversary. On the 6th of October 1996, the shareholder agreement was signed, and that resulted in the creation of company in its modern form. It's been 25 years that a unique international consortium has been operating in Russia and Kazakhstan. Its length is in excess to 1,500 kilometers. Compressor stations, sea terminal with 3 piers located 5 miles offshore. It's a unique port technology that was designed specifically for CPC. Our project is realistically a bridge for multilateral economic cooperation. That route is righteously being deemed as one of the most reliable export routes. This year, CPC, in 2001, we started filling in of the pipeline with the Tengiz oil, and on 13th October 2001, CPC loaded the first tanker in the vicinity of Novorossiysk. Starting from 2001 and until today, CPC have exported more than 750 million tons of crude oil. The number of tankers dispatched is in excess to 7,000. CPC proceeds to remain one of the most successful post-Soviet Eurasian and global projects, I would say. It creates favorable investment climate for dynamically developing petroleum business in Kazakhstan and facilitates the development of the whole region, I mean Russia and Kazakhstan. As of today, The project capacity of the pipeline is 67 million tons, but our shareholders, in realizing the necessity to create more capacity in May 2019, made a decision to implement a debottlenecking program that will allow us to optimize transportation process and acquire additional throughput capacity. In Kazakhstan, they will modernize pumping stations, ancillary stations, infrastructure in Tengiz, in Isatay and KazMunayGas. After fulfillment of that operation, we will pump up to 72 million tons of crude oil per year from Kazakhstan and up to 83 million considering Russian crude oil. Safety, sanitation, hygiene, environmental protection are under continuous scope of our attention because our highest priority is the health and safety of our workers as well as local population. Every year CPC runs big-scale drills regarding liquidation of oil spills, and on monthly basis we have drills, induction courses for our own people, for our subcontractors, in which we rehearse various extraordinary situations. In 19, 20 and in the first half of 21, we have shown zero indicators in traumatism and road accidents. We have overcome the margin of 35 million man-hours without traumas and 97 million kilometers of various roads without road accidents. That was made possible because of the creation of a complex safe culture in which document we formulated and consolidated all necessary rules for our people. As a socially responsible corporate citizen, we've been supporting healthcare, education, culture, children's sport, development of infrastructure in urban and rural communities that lie nearby our pipelines. The last example is the implementation of a unique project for orphans as well as children without guardians. We call it Children's Village, family-type Children's Village. 2020 was pretty much complicated, the pandemic, of course. That is why the company actively reformatted itself in 2020. We bought equipment for medical center, Zhuldi's Eye, computer tomography complex, ambulances for a number of local preventional clinics. We did not suspend our annual programs for pupils, first-year pupils, together with CPC. In the online regime, we had a number of charity festivals for talented children and youth. And I will tell you that the last festival assembled more than 6,000 children. So you can call it an international platform now. Only in Natural province, every year we run charity projects that cost more than $3 million. CPC pays considerate attention to environmental protection. I may say that when we were creating our project, in our initial funding, we envisaged for environmental protection approximately 12% of total funding for creation of safe conditions and to protect the nature. So we are moving towards minimization of emissions and pollutions in all tank farms and all compressor stations. We have implemented technological solutions preventing oil leakages into the dirt. Light fractions collectors. We have modern automated control systems and alarm systems to preserve biodiversity in our areas of operations. We run a number of technological solutions that exclude hazards to flora and fauna. For that we use special electric grids that protect the birds from burns. We protect the programs that support the further development of saiga, antelopes, and a number of other animals. Because of sustained financial situations, CPT paid to shareholders $990 million of debt to shareholders. And for the first time, CPC implemented the payment to shareholders dividends for the fourth quarter of 2020 in the amount of $665 million. In July 21, for the first quarter of 2021, we paid $165 million of dividends. We plan to pay dividends in the month of November in the amount of $287 million. In the last 25 years, the consortium has realistically proven the righteousness of decisions taken by Russian, Kazakh, and foreign leaderships. Among several oil transportation routes from Kazakhstan to exports that were considered at early stages of independence, the Tengiz-Novorossiysk route turned out to be the one and the only most successful option. Today, this project was the pioneer that gave the access for Kazakhstan to international markets, and the consortium has gained the reputation of a reliable and trustworthy partner. Today, it is a dynamically developing, technologically sophisticated, modern, advanced company. Thank you for your attention. Thank you very much, Nikolai Nikolaevich, the participants of the forum. In his greeting word, Head of State emphasized the special role played by CPC for particularly development of our independence, for our economic sustainability. The next floor is given to the Minister of Energy, Marat Magzumovich Mirzagaliyev. Good day, dear members of today's meeting, dear guests. First of all, I would like to congratulate all participants on the upcoming 25th anniversary of the creation of the Caspian Pipeline Consortium. We know that at early stages of our independence in early 90s, we were producing slightly in excess to 25 million tons. The only pipeline to exports was Atyrau-Samara. That is why the expansion of our transport potential was a prerequisite for successful development of the whole petroleum business. For construction of an export route running from Kazakhstan, we were reviewing various options, more than 10 potential routes, including through the Russian Federation to the Black Sea, through Iran to Persian Gulf, through Baku-Ceyhan to the Mediterranean, and others. Eventually, experts identified the most profitable and secure route, Tengiz-Novorossiysk, the shortest one out of all available. The first president, Yelbasi Nursultan Nazarbayev, with his resilience and with his decisiveness, ensured the fulfillment of the project, involved international partners. And I would like to highlight the role of the veteran petroleum engineers who were standing behind the development of this particular project. Today, we can see Mr. Izmukhambetov, Mr. Kabyldin, Mr. Kuandikov, Mr. Baikenov, and many other people who realistically in those years survived through a rather complicated negotiations process, found ways to establish consensus in such a complicated geopolitical issue. So, in the result of that, the project agreement was signed. First, it was signed between Kazakhstan and Oman in 1992, and the same year, Russian Federation joined the project. December 1996 was a milestone, a turning day. In Moscow, we signed a shareholder agreement that made it possible to physically build the Tengiz-Novorossiysk pipeline, which is today a priority route. It's a bright example of successful multilateral cooperation. It runs through Kazakhstan and Russia. It joins two seas, Caspian and Black Sea. It unites a great number of shareholders from UK, Italy, USA, Russia and Kazakhstan. But despite a very broad structure of shareholders, I need to highlight very high effectivity of the project management. Since commissioning in 2001 and until today, Kazakhstan has exported more than 745 million tons. More than two-thirds of Kazakh export crude oil run through CPC. CPC gave opportunities to significantly increase production in Tengiz, Karachaganak. It helped to begin development of Kashagan. Today, the further expansion gives 67 million tons per year, and as has been said by Mr. Gorban already, we think about increasing throughput to up to more than 81 million tons. That give us confidence about the future success. In the nearest future, we anticipate to expand Tengiz, Kashagan and launch and other fields in the Caspian offshore. So I want to congratulate shareholders, management and the whole company, CPC, with the anniversary that symbolically coincides with another important historical event, 30th anniversary of Kazakh independence. I wish you further fruitful activity and successes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Magzum. I would like to use this opportunity to wish you the fruitful work and work in a new position. And the next, please, Mr. Lyon, the floor is yours.
Dear distinguished guests, CPC colleagues, it is my great pleasure to participate with you on this 25th anniversary of the Caspian Pipeline Consortium operation. Since Tengizchevroil's inception in 1993, the company has been creating value for Kazakhstan by operating responsibly and continuously focusing on safe and reliable operations. TCO has increased its oil production from just 1 million tons per year in 1993 to over 26.5 million tons last year. And this performance has supported the country's economic growth and development. The formation of the Caspian Pipeline Consortium has helped Kazakhstan become a major global producer and supplier of hydrocarbons in international markets. As Mr. Gorban mentioned, in March of 2001, crude oil from the Tengiz fields began flowing through the CPC pipeline. Since then, CPC has been the main route for exporting Tengiz oil to world markets. The 1,500-kilometer pipeline has allowed TCO to significantly reduce its transportation expenses and secure sale of increasing volumes of hydrocarbons. Our participation in the pipeline has become the foundation of a strong partnership between TCO and CPC, which has created shared value for both companies. CPC's investments in expanding capacity pipeline have enabled 100% of TCO oil production through the pipeline to international markets. And at the same time, approximately 45% of CPC's volumes come from Tengizchevroil. And during this time, TCO has had stable access and a safe and reliable transportation system for its products through CPC. TCO sincerely appreciates its partnership with CPC throughout these years of strong cooperation. So on behalf of the TCO partners, our management and employees, I'd like to extend my sincere congratulations to CPC and its shareholders for this significant milestone, the 25th anniversary of the founding of CPC. Dear CPC colleagues and shareholders, we wish you ongoing success in your business, and we look forward to continuing our strong partnership as we continue to create additional value for our shareholders now and well into the future. Thank you. Spasibo.
Thank you, Mr. Lyon.
Thank you. Yes, and at this moment, TCO was the only provider of oil, and then other export providers from Kazakhstan and Petroleum operating has joined, and then the second goods provider. I would like to give the floor to Deputy Director of Karachaganak, to Mr. Kudaibergenov. Thank you. Good afternoon, dear ladies and gentlemen. For me, it's a great honor to be the part of today's session, which is devoted to the 25th anniversary of the consortium, and we have the long-term period friendship and collaboration. Please let me tell you a few floor, because we have the participants of the forum that are not familiar with the oil geography. Karachaganak is an international consortium that works in the processing and extracting. This alliance is presented. Please, previous slide, please. Previous slide, please. Yes, so you can see on the slide leading companies of the world energy sphere on behalf of our mother companies. Karachaganak Petroleum operation is one of the largest one in the world. It is located in the northwestern part of Kazakhstan, and it takes a large territory, and its industrial exploitation started in 1984. The geological deposits of Karachaganak, 1.6 billion tons of oil and gas condensate, out of which the gas was extracted about 13% of the liquid carbon and 13% of gas. And when the foreign investors have joined us in 90s, we've started exploiting the Karachaganak, and because of great investment and collaborative experience of our partners, KPO has become one of the flagmen of the oil and gas industry. Karachaganak has more than 36% of gas and around 14% of petrol extracted in the country. It is the locomotive of the socio-economical development of Western Kazakhstan and has a great contribution in the development of national economy. Our main products are the liquid carbon and the raw natural gas. This is being transported to the Western international markets. Next slide, please. The previous one. The Caspian Consortium, the port in Caspian Sea, and pipeline at Eurasian to Transneft and to Baltic Sea. At the same time, CPC is one of the main and the best route for the transportation. The collaboration with CPC has started with in the beginning of 2000, when we started delivering our oil to. This slide presents the Karachaganak oil with the participation of CPC, and the first tanker went 1 year later. Within the frameworks of the second stage of the Karachaganak project in 2003, launched the 635 kilometers pipeline CPC at Rao through the large Karachaganak KPO Karachaganak processing complex. So then we join, our oil goes through the pipeline to Novorossiysk, where the tankers meet it over there. The next slide shows that during the last 17 years of transporting CPO, it has grown from 3.5 million tons to the record 2.6 million tons in 2020. And it has become possible from the CPC project's realization, expanding project that was finished successfully in 2018. During 2018-19, by means of optimization of sales, KPO has made it possible to increase it, so the whole volume of oil being exported by means of CPC. Next slide, please. From the beginning of this export Karachaganak oil, the number of shipments from the southern Ozerevsk, it was 180 tankers per year, and there are big plans to achieve new accomplishments by the end of the year. We have worked through the limitations regarding the gas, then the launch projects, and the stage of realization, the project of the fifth compressor of the back pumping of gas, and the reliability and interaction of our partners, collaboration, that is the basement of our success. Caspian Pipeline Consortium is one of the reliable routes for transportation of oil from Caspian Sea area to the international markets. Consortium has become one of the key players at the energy market of Eurasia, and without any exaggeration is the key factor for the whole oil sector of the Republic. I would like to express my gratitude from the Caspian Pipeline Consortium on behalf of people who are here, Mr. Gorban, Kabyldin, and for the long period collaboration with our company and mutual understanding. And in upcoming future, our collaboration partnership will be growing and becoming stronger. On behalf of CPO, I would like to express the gratitude and wish you all the best. Congratulations with your anniversary and the greatest success. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Kuanysh. 5 years ago, in October 2016, to the system of Caspian Pipeline Consortium, we have started receiving the oil from Kashagan. Kashagan deposit mine is one of the main pride for Kazakhstan. Is a bright example of realizing and implementing the technological boosting and progress. I would like to give the floor to Mr. Berlibayev, to the Deputy Executive Director of COC. Hello, distinguished colleagues, dear friends. For me, it's a great honor to be here today on behalf of our company, COC, operator on Kashagan deposit. Caspian Pipeline Consortium has done a great job, and we all heard about it, we could see it, and it is our reliable partner, truly reliable partner. It is our pride of oil, gas industry, petroleum industry of Kazakhstan. Historically speaking, in October 2016, from the on-ground preparation complex of oil and gas, we had the first shipment of the crude oil, 137 million tons. So from that moment, the volume of export grows. And this year, we crossed the edge 15 million ton per year. And we need to mention that CPC is our main route, and today we could hear that the system of security and reliability of the equipment is trustworthy, and we are sure that our collaboration with you will go on, and it has good future. And in October, in the beginning of October this year, the exporting system of CPC, 61 million ton of oil, 97% of our export volume. So, about plans for the future. We plan to finish the modernization plan of the accounting point and to reach the level 500,000 barrels per 24. The project is joined to COC and CPC. We plan to start the exploitation August 2022 after installing our complexes for the cap repairment. In the realization of this project, the shareholders of Kashagan and the Republic of Kazakhstan to maximize the volume of export and the benefit and revenue. I would like to mention and emphasize that we take it very seriously, the contract liabilities and obligations within the frameworks of the agreements, and we are ready to fulfill it on time and fully. I would like to congratulate the honorable team of Caspian Pipeline Consortium with the 25th anniversary. During 25 years, company has taken the important, significant position. It is integrated part of the economical development of the country. I wish to the company and its team many years of fruitful work, the industrial success and economical and financial prosperity. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much. The active participation in the CPC activities, KazMunayGas takes and plays a big role. It allowed to realize the joint projects. And the floor is given to Mr. Daniyar, KMG representative, the chairman of a board of directors. Please, the floor is yours. Thank you so much. Hello, distinguished colleagues, dear friends, and the participants of the forum. I'm sure that our fruitful program and agenda of this forum had a great opportunity to have the opinions exchange on the actual questions of the energy complex development. KMG, as you know, besides that we are the governmental shareholder of CPC, we are also the large shipment sender, cargo sender, so it is a great pride for us. KMG is the head of the board of directors of CPC, and with colleagues, with shareholders, we have the multilateral partnership, and I would like to express the gratitude for that to the participants of CPC, Caspian Pipeline Consortium. The main numbers are named. Everything has been told already. I would like just to get back to Mr. Nikolai, that yes, we have a great variety and wealth of the choices of routes, but such an alternative. So CPC, first of all, I would like to make sure and that we will take all the efforts that this company will be developing further on. And as it was already said by the participants today, it's important for the people of this consortium to have the reliable, secure work and safe work. And KMG knows that it is possible just with the participation of all the shareholders. That is why I think that the participation of shareholders in the operational activities of CPC has the great meaning, important meaning, that this project will be always successful and will be developing on and on and on. I would like to congratulate all of you here with us, a wonderful anniversary, to express the gratitude to all the shareholders for the participation, and that during all these years we have been collaborating fruitfully together, and I'm sure that we will move to follow the same path. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Daniyar. This CPC is an international project that was checked by the time. I would like to give the floor to Mr. Kabyldin, who was in the beginning of this history of developing the oil and gas industry, and CPC was realized in his presence. Please. Hello, good afternoon, distinguished colleagues, dear guests, shareholders. I just wanted to say a few words about the analysis of this project, about the lessons being learned that we need to know. As you said, it is a big, large international project, and it is almost the same age of the independence age of our country. Everything has started in the beginning when after the Soviet Union collapsed, and everything was just destroyed and damaged, and the people's households and everything, and the country itself. So the top management of the country, the first president of the country, Mr. Nazarbayev, was identifying the strategy, and the strategy was devoted to strengthen our independence, of course, it was the rate for oil. Oil and gas sector is the locomotive of development of the economy of the country. In order to realize this potential, of course, it was essential to identify the strategic goal to create the export system. And this export system was not just created out of nothing, because it was mentioned already. The great number of analysis was done of the potential routes, and each of this possible route was its own sponsor. And we've been discussing the routes connected to the direction Baku-Ceyhan, and the sponsor of which was such companies as BP, Turkish Petroleum, European Union. The next direction was proposed via Iran. The sponsor was Total. There was the direction Turkmenistan, Pakistan, reaching Indian Sea. The sponsors was Unico Company, Mobil, and the traditional development was to have the routes through the Russian Federation. Each project has its own sponsor, and as you know, the choice was done, taking into consideration all the geopolitical interests and transitional risks. And first of all, the government of Kazakhstan, World Bank. The World Bank has prepared the report. Ernst & Young, they provided it. There was risk assessment, potential risks regarding each route, and it was one of the first researchers connected with the expert oil pipeline from Kazakhstan. As a result of this expert analysis, we have identified the priority directions, the initiative of our first president, Mr. Nazarbayev, and of course the support of the president of Russian Federation, Mr. Yeltsin.
And that was the priority number one. Of course, we had to think how to organize the process of implementation, where to find the funds. In 1992, Russian Federation joined, and Aman Oil was the leader of the company at the time of those events. They wanted to acquire funding under the guarantees of oil pumping. It required Chevron guarantees to find the finance. So, of course, Chevron were unwilling to give their guarantees. They required participation. So 1992 to 1996 were endless negotiations that did not result in the funding. And eventually Yeltsin and Nazarbayev signed a protocol about the reorganization of CPC. So the share in the project, 50%, according to the principle, let's cut one apple into equal halves, was given to international petroleum companies in exchange to 100% funding of the initial stage of construction, $2.2 billion. So in the result of negotiations, the parties agreed to reorganize the consortium in April 1996. The protocol was signed. After that, project participants began another round of negotiations, so to create a legal entity. Today we call it CPC-R or CPC-K, and the shareholder agreement was the platform for the future company. And there we also had another round of project analysis, how to organize the funding, how to acquire commitments from petroleum companies. they required that the tariff be established by shareholders, access be granted by shareholders as well, and the government was supposed to guarantee other things, so it was in confrontation to some of the legal provisions existing in Kazakhstan, so we had to overcome those disputes by means of addressing directly to the presidents of Russia and Kazakhstan. So consolidation of various interests, 8 companies, 3 countries, you can imagine sometimes 2 parties come into uncompromising struggle, so I think it was immense, tremendous activity, successful activity, and it is to the merit of the people, physical individuals who contributed their efforts. Mr. Berlibayev, Minister of Oil and Gas, Mr. Olivier, the founder father of Lukoil, Mr. Richard Matsky, Chevron Overseas. Those particular individuals helped to consolidate those endless negotiations in Metropole Hotel in May through December without any breaks, so the parties came to final agreement and the shareholder agreement was signed eventually. So this is how the project was launched. The government, on its behalf, took certain obligations, signed a number of governmental edicts. We had to overcome bureaucratic obstacles, political obstacles, both in Kazakhstan and Russia, particularly when we were collecting approvals, endorsements, land allotments, permissions, etc. Besides, at the time of events, Russia and Kazakhstan did not have clear currency regulation provisions because our legislation required that tariff be established in Kazakh tenge. Of course, that wasn't okay with foreign investors, and our president had to produce a separate edict establishing hard currency regulation for CPC specifically. And later, Russia followed our example, so a lot of problems were resolved, particularly problems associated with the Quality Bank organization. Today, CPC is the only pipeline that possesses a Quality Bank among all former Soviet countries. Why was Chevron against it? Because Chevron would be losing because of the quality. They were supposed to lose some $25 from each tons. So Kazakhstan created an independent route that was not regulated by Russian legislation, not Kazakh legislation. It was regulated by the shareholder agreement. So starting from 2001 until 2010, we had nonetheless complicated negotiations about further expansion of CPC. So in connection with that, I would like to thank Mr. Izmukhambetov, who was the Minister of Energy at the time of events. He took part on negotiations. I want to thank Mr. Khristenko from the Russian Federation. He was the Minister of Energy. So it was their physical contribution, in the result of which the shareholders agreed to change the tariff, to change some guarantees, to change the composition of the management team, change the manner of distribution of cash flows, because initially all preemptive rights were with the petroleum producing companies. So in the result of that complicated, I would say, activity, we managed to run the expansion. It was successfully implemented in 2019. The expansion project was kicked off. So I think CPC is an artery. If oil is the blood of our economy, then CPC is the main artery that ensures the development of all major petroleum projects in Kazakhstan in the last 30 years. I mean Tengizchevroil, Karachaganak and Karachaganak, as well as the companies KazMunayGas and its partners in petroleum operations. So I avail myself of this opportunity to thank all present veterans of the industry. They contributed immensely into the higher cause, and they made that project successful. I can say that today the project has become a bridge for the further development of our sovereign economy, of our GDP, of guaranteed funding streams into the national treasury. All of that became possible, and it made possible the further development of our economy. I congratulate all of us. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, Mr. Kabyldin. Quite an information-saturated speech. We are within the time limits. If you have questions, particularly mass media, at 12:30 we will have a separate Q&A session for you. But now allow me to begin the function itself. The floor is being given to Nikolai Gorban. All official speeches have been made. I would like, in celebrating the 25th anniversary, this is not a governmental medal, this is a Jubilee corporate medal, so I would like to handle it to some of the present speakers, counting on further proceeding of our successful cooperation. You know, 25th anniversary, 30th anniversary, Jubilee medals, everything goes smoothly and seamlessly, so let's proceed.
Nikolai Nikolaevich, просим вас пройти к сцене.
Mr. Gorban, please proceed on stage to hand over the medals.
Итак, под ваши бурные аплодисменты награждается Кевин Лайон, генеральный директор ТО Tengizchevroil.
General TCO is being awarded with a Jubilee medal.
Kuanysh Kudaibergenov, заместитель генерального директора Karachaganak Petroleum Operating.
Karachaganak Petroleum Operating.
Марабаев Ермек Насыргалиевич, заместитель управляющего директора
NCOC.
Berlibayev Daniyar Amirbаевич, заместитель председателя правления АО НК KazMunayGas.
Board of GSC KazMunayGas, national company.
Сарсенов Джамбулат Жакиевич, заместитель председателя ассоциации Kazenergy.
Of Kazenergy Association.
Благодарим участников мероприятия, желаю руководству и партнерам консорциума процветания и успехов в работе.
Successes and fruitful activity.
Дорогие гости, дорогие дамы и господа, для участия в юбилейном фуршете вы можете подняться на второй этаж.